Please, warm ASC welcome for co-founder and CMO of Soul Republic, Mr. Seth Combs.
Hey, guys.
Enjoy, sir. Enjoy.
Thanks, brother. I want to tell you about Soul Republic, tell you about who we are, and then tell you about my thoughts on authenticity. So let's go through authenticity, right? So authenticity, when I got asked by Mark to be part of this, really wanted to understand because I never really thought about authenticity. What's the definition of it? So it's the genuineness or truth of something, right? And that's really key for us. And so how do we maintain our authenticity? And so for us, it really goes back to words. And it all stems from one thing. So March 2010, Kevin Lee and myself, two of the three co-founders, the other one being Scott Hicks, we're sitting in a cafe in San Francisco and we're going, hey, you know what? We had helped launch Beats by Dre. It was a tremendous success. We go, you know what? Most kids can't afford this. Can we bring great sound to the masses? And we go, hey, your headphones shouldn't cost more than your smartphone. Let's create something special. But before we had a name, before we had a logo, before we had a product, we go, let's go write down what we believe in. And why? Because the power of words is incredible, not only for what you believe in, making sure you stand true to your North Star, if you will, but it's true to all of your fans out there, all the people that believe in your brand, right? And it's true to the partners that you partner with. And you can always go back to that and really understand. And the power of words, guys, just to give you a quick update on the power of words, if you guys have, remember used car salesman? Used car salesman, remember it was like the cheesy suits back in the 70s and 80s? In the 90s, the used car salesman was still cheesy as ever, but what happened was the internet took over, right? So in late 90s, early 2000s, internet takes over, all of a sudden everyone knows the price of cars. So they go into the car dealership and you go, hey, here's the invoice price. They just got it off Consumer Reports, right? So now all of a sudden the car dealerships aren't making money on new cars. So what do? They brought in a guy and they go, come up with the right words to sell used cars. So what did he come up with? Certified pre-owned, right? Transformed the industry. All of a sudden now the car industry makes more money off used cars, which they used to never touch, than they do on their new cars because everyone knows the invoice price, right? So it's incredible. So with us, we went back to this. We wrote down a philosophy. And what started out with, we are music lovers committed to changing the world one listener at a time because we believe we can do that. We believe if music sounds better and feels better, and we realize there are only two universal languages, mathematics and music. So if we can get our headphones in the hands of everyone in every country around the world, then we can do this. We can pull this off. And this idea of soundtrack of life, that every great moment you have something special with you, was so integral in everything we were doing that we go, you know what, let's name the company after it. So we're known as Soundtrack of Life Republic, but we shortened it to Soul Republic to make it easier for everyone to pronounce. We make headphones, right? We've made the first headphones that were completely, interchangeable, virtually indestructible, and offer great sound, and we did it less than $100. So we launched in '99 because we said your headphones shouldn't cost more than your smartphone. Put that out. We also said we want to work with the top people around the world, and we want to work with people that move people. We're a music lifestyle movement that just happens to make headphones. Who else do we want to join this movement? So we teamed up with the top DJs in the world initially. The guys from like Steve Aoki, Benny Benassi, Colette, you saw some of them, Tamara Sky. The list goes on. And then from there, we moved on, and we went to athletes. We went from guys like Michael Phelps to Julian Wilson, Eric Ellington. And we've continued to grow out there. And the idea is let's spread the word that if music sounds better, it feels better. But what I really love is that, this group of 25,601 music fans around the world, we call soldiers of sound. And the soldiers of sound for us, these are music fans. We actually call ourselves soldiers. And soldiers of sound are this incredible group of music fans. If you think about street teams, this is a street team on steroid, if you will. Steroids. So I'll talk to you about two of them. The one here on the right is Carla Hernandez outside of Winnipeg, Canada. We launched this program in January 2012 because we realized so many people wanted to talk about music and wanted to share music consistently with us that when we launched this, Carla was one of the first. In fact, in March 2012, she said, Seth, what number of soldier was I? I said, Carla, I looked it up, you're soldier number 7. A week later, I get this email with a photo of her new tattoo, and it says soldier number 007, right? And since then, we've seen hundreds of tattoos come in and out, but she's one of these that consistently is part of it. She's flown on her own dime to San Francisco to hang out at her office Because she goes, I believe in you guys so much. I'm like, look, we're working all week. You know this, right? Like, we're not taking off for you. And she's like, got it. She's like, I just want to be part of it. I just want to be around you guys. Then we have this other kid over here from the Midwest who, as you can see right here, he's defaced his car his parents bought him. It is Audi A4. It's a nice car. He's defaced it on the back and on the side by actually, he did these decals and they did spray paint on the side. Really nice car he's destroyed. That's a GoPro camera on the back. He's going 50 miles per hour. He's outside the sunroof with our t-shirt on and our headphones on. And the reason he submitted this video was he was trying to win headphones. All right, guys? He's got headphones on, right? He believes in it that much. I'm going to tell you one more story, too, real quickly. Kid Christoph in Berlin. Has anyone been to IFA in Berlin? It is an incredibly boring trade show in Berlin, right? Think CES, but even worse. So we're out there, and we're going to Berlin, and we tell the soldiers we're going out there. It's our first time at IFA, first time showcasing to these retailers, and this kid Christoph begs his father to drive him 2.5 hours to Berlin. They book a hotel room for 2 nights, right, because we're there for 3 days. He's like, I want to be part of this. First question he asks us when we get there is, can I please listen to the headphones? I'm like, what are you talking about, Christoph? You're a soldier. You just drove 2.5 hours with your dad, paid all this money. He's like, yeah. He goes, I've been part of the soldier community because a friend told me about it, and I love it about music, but I've never actually seen the headphones. You don't sell them in Germany. I'm like, holy shit, right? This kid believes in the brand so much, and by the way, he's never even touched the product, right? We spent the next 3 days taking to every retailer meeting there was because this is about as good as it gets for us. You can't write this stuff up. For us, authenticity isn't about what you do. It's about what you say no to. It's about what you don't do. As you guys know, with a brand that's successful and a brand as you're growing, everyone comes at every angle to say, this is why we should work together, let's do something special. And it's key to understand what your priorities are, and that's key to understand who you are and what you stand for. And most importantly, we stick to the following. It's this idea that it's not 1 million units sold, it's 1 unit sold 1 million times. And that's really the paradigm that we live in. It's 1 unit sold 1 million times, guys. It's 1 million unique experiences. The bigger your company grows, the more you think in terms of these volumes. And all of a sudden, it's not your best friend you're selling it to, it's a group of people. And all of a sudden, you can make weird decisions based on that. We think of it as 1 unit sold 1 million times because we have 1 million plus experiences that are special. We have a family out there whose son is epileptic and who has gone through several headphones because he has these seizures and he's broken all these other headphones. She wrote us, and it's one of these letters that makes everyone cry in the office because she's talking about how it's changed her life and her son's life, right? So we send him a ton of headbands, right? We have another group up in Portland, Oregon, actually, who was like, we have a lot of blind kids and we want to work with them. Is there anything? We love the headphones. Can you do something special for them? So we put their favorite songs in Braille on the headband, right? It's those special experiences that you forget about, right? Because you can get caught up in, let's just sell 1 million units here. But it's realistically, how do I connect with you individually? And what do people want? Well, guys, is the truth, right? People want to believe in something bigger than themselves inherently. And who runs the brands today? Well, people do, right? Social media flipped the switch. 20 years ago, if you wanted to build a brand, it was easy. You just spend the money. Buy the advertising spots, buy the friggin' billboards, do all that. You ran it. Talk one way to the public and let them deal with it, right? It was who had the most money. Now, it's who communicates best with the consumer. Number 1 tattoo in the U.S. is mom. Number 2 is Harley Davidson, right? When this guy gets to be like 70, 75, it's going to say Harley Davidson, right? It's getting crazy, right? People love and live for this. People will defy their senses if they believe in you enough. You guys know that? Does anyone remember the Pepsi Challenge? Pepsi Challenge back in the 80s. 7 out of 10 people preferred the taste of Pepsi to Coke. Okay, so a psychiatrist turned marketer goes, wait a second, this is 2000 now. He goes, if people prefer the taste of Pepsi 7 times out of 10 to Coke, why isn't Pepsi the number 1 selling soft drink? Right? Why does Coke still own this? So he ran the test again. And guess what? 7 out of 10 people preferred the taste of Pepsi to Coke. But when he told them it was Pepsi, they said, I will never drink Pepsi, never buy Pepsi. I'm a Coke person, right? People are defying their own senses because they believe in something, right? They're defying their own senses. What do people want again? Well, people want truth. So let's go through this. Authenticity, when I thought about it, right? Truth, genuineness. They want that aspect. They want to believe in you. They want to believe in what you have to offer. And what is your truth is something you need to take back to your office, right? Something you need to take back when you go home. What is your truth? What do we stand for? Guys, we have that first philosophy I read you and you saw at the beginning. That is up in every single office. I show that at every single presentation. I don't care if you're Best Buy or a partner, potential partner. Every single person has to see that presentation, has to see that philosophy. We got 50 of the top DJs in the world before we even had a product to sign on as Saviors of Sound, which we don't pay them anything. We got them to sign on because we had that philosophy and we had a photo of a headphone, not even a headphone. But we go, do you believe in this? And they said, yes, we absolutely do. So for you, it's making sure you can find out what your truth is. I want to tell you why that's so important. Because little things can happen that get you off your way. And I'm going to show you some brands that have had this happen to them as well. But little things can, where you fall off your truth. And Abraham Lincoln had a great quote, and it's very true. It said, you can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time. But you cannot fool all of the people all of the time, right? Eventually it comes out, right? And even though you can say it, like eventually truth will come out. What, Bill? What? So, like, right? We're forgiving people, though, right? We get this and we go, you know what, Bill, we know you cheated. We understand. It's okay. We still love you, right? People are forgiving in certain ways. But you can't fool all the people all the time, right? And sometimes we get really pissed. And sometimes our heroes fall because they do things like this guy did, right? It becomes very polarizing at that point. And you go, wait a second, those are that emotional connection. That's that brand. And people are brands too. So let's talk about some actual brands who have lost our faith, right? Who have lost that emotional connection. Well, you guys remember, well, that's not coming up. There it is, Enron. Arthur Andersen, remember that company? Right? That was a big brand, one of the biggest. Now, if you even mention you, no one would ever say they worked at Enron, right? Even if you did. And why would you? Because everyone will look down on you. But you remember these brands too, right? These are still brands that are out there, but if you want to talk about brands that lost their way, you guys know that. And you guys see this every day because especially in action sports, in that realm, authenticity is all you have. Your reputation is all you have, right? And it's not a brand, it's not a company. It is a collection of people. It is a collective of people. That's what makes that brand. It's a collective of people. It's who the people you have making the decisions, the people you have meeting people, the people you have at events that matters most. So let's talk about other brands, though, that we've seen turn around. The Converse of the world. You know, Converse, guys, was bankrupt, right? Nike picked it up, turned it around. Why? They go, let's go back to our roots. What do we stand for? What do we really stand for, guys? We're part of music, right? We are a music brand, right? Nintendo goes, hey, we can't win trying to be us and try to be the next technological leader, right? What do we stand for? We stand for simplicity. We want to just bring games back to everyone, to your grandma, right? The Wii took off. There's a reason it took off. They went completely different opposite route because they go, this is what we believe in, this is who we are. And you guys know the story of Apple, right? I mean, come on. Apple turned around. It was a company that less than $10 stock price. It was in the dumps. Brought back Steve Jobs, and Steve goes, you know what? I'm going to change the game again. You can have any color you want as long as it's black or white, right? You can do, right? He goes, you know, you're going to pay extra for everything we do. It's going to be very special, right? And he wowed us today, right? They just reported their sales. They had an off quarter, $35 billion, right? There's something special about that because we want to believe in that. So how do you find your truth and how do you maintain your authenticity? Well, I think the real key thing is understanding what you stand for. And it's not easy to just kind of riff it, guys. You know, it's one thing. When we did this thing, we write it down. We share it and we live by it. And I want to really tell you and hopefully persuade you to do it yourselves as well. Because the key thing is actually writing this stuff down. And it's the way you share it with everyone. You know, every single employee, every partner, again, goes back to that one philosophy. because that to us is what's special, and that's what maintains our authenticity for us. Guys, I'm Seth Combs from Soul Republic. Thanks for listening to me for the last 20 minutes. Hope you have a good one.
Thank you. Professor Mallington. That was awesome.